YouTube. So Philip Anthony Mitchell of 2819 is being criticized by black celebrities, black liberals, entertainers, Jamie Foxx, Israel Houghton, and he's being criticized for telling the black church that we need to teach our kids to obey authority. We need to teach our kids to obey authority, law, be law-abiding citizens. And if you are a hard blue-collar scholar black man like I am, I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. I was like, yeah, we do. You know, we do. And I was sharing this with my wife, and I said, if my son were to get pulled over by the cops, I would tell him how to conduct himself. Hey, 10 and 2, wait till the cop comes and instructs and tells you what to do. Wait till he tells you and you concur. License and registration. Sir, I am going to get my license and registration. It is located here. Is that okay? And let's keep in mind, a lot of, if not all of them by now, have cameras on them. Hey, ain't no need to huff and puff. Look, my mama was the first popo. She was the first knuck if you buck if you knuck, jump if you want to, and get smacked down. High kick. Puerto Rican mama. My friends were there to attest of this. My mom was the first. Hey, if you don't like something that I'm saying, do not answer me back. Learn to sit down and take what I'm telling you. Do not talk back to me. Do not question me. My mother, like if she saw this video, she was like, yeah, little Puerto Rican woman was the first. Because I'll tell you guys what. If he doesn't know how to respect male authority, what he gonna do? What he gonna do when the missus get a little mouthy with him? As misses tend to do. Would you gonna puff up in her face too? No, teach our men to be men. Teach them that if you ain't doing nothing wrong, ain't gonna be no problem. Now there are exceptions to this, but the exceptions don't account for the majority. The exceptions don't account for the majority. You know, you'll have your classic exceptions, but if you're not doing nothing wrong, and keep this in mind, when I say that I was, look, when the police pull me over, they know what they dealing with. They know, and I know you guys don't see it now. I'm 47 years old. They come to the car, gun on the hip, come to the car, hand on the gun, straight to the car. Because they can see all the way, they can see my foolishness as a child. You know, this guy used to be blah blah blah. He used to blah blah blah. He blah blah blah. Sir, are you blah 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 blah? I'm not gonna go into details, but yeah, we was look. It don't look like I could have been about that life now, cause I'm mature. The Bible says that when I was a child, I spake as a child. But now that I'm a grown man, I put away childish things and I operate and I act as an adult, a law-abiding citizen. You know, Philip Anthony Mitchell even mentioned a cop mean mugging him, and he kind of mean mugged him back. I'm from Chi-Town. I'm from Chicago. South Side, that we were taught by the youngers, hey, you don't even look another gangbanger in the face too hard if you don't want no problem. You do not get into a staring competition because it's gonna be something. We're not talking about cops. We're not talking about cops. And if you're in the comment section, hey, if you're from Chicago, tell them how it is. Hey, you don't want to stare too hard at the next guy. Hey, give a glance, do your nod, and you continue about your business. We're not even talking about cops. If your son is in the wrong, still comply. If he ain't even in the wrong, what you scared for? Now, there are some places in the South or in the Midwest where I say we best be passing through. Because I know that white is right over there. And I know. I told my wife this the other day. I said, hey, over here on the West, going toward the West, they are more progressive thinkers. But there are parts of this country that they still believe we gonna make America. We gonna go through. There's gonna be a cleansing. There's gonna be a cleansing of everything that ain't white. I'm gonna say it. There are still places like that. If you're a black woman, you may not see it because you're a black woman. But as a black man, we are still perceived as a threat. We're still perceived as a threat. We're still perceived as hip hop. I had a European lady that I met, and she said, wow, I didn't know that you can speak so well. Because this is how we're portrayed over the media. This is how we're portrayed over the media. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't speak with a white tone, but I do speak like I understand that I do have some command of the English language. So there was nothing wrong with what Philip Anthony Mitchell said. As far as everybody else calling him a coon, man, guess what they get to do? They get to go back to their $1 million mansions. You heard? They get to go back to their freaking $1 million mansions. They security. They have a known face. No. Philip Anthony Mitchell was exactly right. Hey, do what they tell you to do. Do what they tell you to do. So, like I told my wife, I don't care what the conversations that they're having in the White household. I want my son to make it home alive. And that means putting ego aside. I was telling one of my customers who happened to be white, and I said, I'm using wisdom. I understand they got the gun. They got the bang bang. They got the law on their side. I understand that. I said they got the law. I don't have the law. So if there's any problem with what I have, I'm gonna take it up with their superiors in court. And I even did that one time. I came to court, had my work clothes on, and I still lost. They didn't care that I had the paperwork. The judge did not care that I had the paperwork, because I should have had more precise. I should have had blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't have been driving around with the paperwork. He did not care. And folks, that's a whole grown man while this was being told to me. Do you think I huffed and puffed at that judge? Took it on the chin. Took it on the chin. Paid the fine. Took it on the chin. Because I understand this is the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in. Will it ever change? Yeah, it's gonna change, but the way it's gonna change is in economics, is in powering, is in who we're voting for to sit at these local seats. Who we're voting for sitting at these seats. But I didn't get all huffy. I took it on the chin because I understood, hey, I got to get to work. I got to go make this money. I got to get home. And mind you, I probably was pre-COVID, full businessman, full on businessman, ain't bothering nobody, just going to my next client. Took it on the chin because I understand that what they had, there's a deputy in the court, there's an officer of the clerk, whatever that judge says. Hey, word is bond right there. I took it on the chin, and guess what? I say, hey, look, it's part of the game. I'm gonna write this off on the business anyway. Hey, and I walked out, yes sir, blah 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 blah. Didn't get into I have no rights. Didn't get in because ultimately you don't have any rights. You got the right to remain silent. you got the right to be in contempt of court. If push comes to shove, we ain't got no rights. Not with the whites that think in that manner. Now, before I had appeared in court, the officer told me to pull over. And mind you, it was two officers. I'm gonna tell you how this goes. I did not pull over. I proceeded slowly and cautiously to a parking lot, which was on to the side of me. And one cop came out, puffing, red in the face, drawing his gun. When I fucking tell you to pull over, you pull over. And I swear he was talking like Hulk Hogan. You pull over. Blah, blah, blah. And I told the officer, I said, listen, if I would have pulled over in the middle of traffic, that would have been me obstructing traffic. And I'm endangering your life. I decided to pull over into a safe complex where we can conduct business properly. The younger white guy with him was like, word, that's cool. And he was telling the other older white cop, hey, stand down. Stand down. This dude ain't look, over some expired tags, and he got the paperwork in the car. Come on. And the other cop, you know, they didn't even pull me out the car. Once younger white cop told old white cop, yo, chill. This dude is actually thinking about our safety. That was it. He calmed down, wrote the ticket out, and gave it to me and told me to carry on. But had I gotten to a pissing contest with the guy, period, had I gotten to a pissing match with him, the way this cop was upset. Look. I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. I'm sure of that. I'm sure that I'd have been another statistic on the news for just going to work. So I'm saying we do live in that world, and I'm also saying I know how to operate and move within that world. Now I comply, and if there's something if there's something that I thought I wasn't complying, I made it make sense to the officers. Because I understand the law. I understand portions of the law. It's like, again, I'm a CDL driver. We're gonna obstruct all this traffic. when one of you got to come to the driver's side door and one of you got to come to the passenger door, and you want to run the risk of getting hit in the busiest part of the day. I said, okay. Hey, there are certain things that we say that I say that make a person think. That was a quick de-escalation. So yes, I agree with Philip Anthony Mitchell. We do need to teach our children how to respect. Somebody's gonna teach them to respect. Either the officers, and this was the same when I was growing up, or you're gonna learn respect when you get in jail. You gonna learn respect one or two ways. Which one you want to do? Which one you want to do? You know, the son's starting to get older. He getting saucier. He getting bigger than his pop. Pop need to go upside his head every now and then. He do. And I'm not saying that, you know, to promote violence, but I need you know how teenage sons can get, thinking they got the testosterone running through them. You know, you got the girls getting saucy with their mama. And we can't live in a society right now where the children that don't know anything about life or anything about the law is disrespectful to the parents first. See, the disrespect doesn't happen to the officers outside. No. It starts in the home, and it's not being corrected inside the house. So yes, we do need to teach our children to respect authority. And we are the first authority figures. Grandma the first authority figure that the child needs to respect. On the job, come to work on time. Let's get those small things out the way so that when you start respecting those things, you can respect authority outside the house. Peace.